What's up, everybody? I'm back with another take of Zooming with Kaymitch, but this time it's a different spin. Instead of interviewing somebody, I'll be interviewing myself. I had a couple of questions come to me via social media that people would like for me to answer and everything, so I'm here to answer it. But let me introduce myself. My name is Kayla Mitchell, and I am a grad assistant at Murray State University for the women's basketball program. I played 3 years at Lamar University, and I spent my last year at Central Arkansas. I got my degree in psychology, and I had an undergrad in health education, um, my minor. And my master program is the Human Development and Leadership program here, where I am doing my second semester of my 2 years, and I've been really enjoying it. Um, so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and ask the first question that's somebody wrote down for me. It said, "How do you think your personal experience has helped you in coaching profession so far?" I think my experience so far has been rather different. As a player, it wasn't always easy going. Um, it was a struggle, especially coming from high school to now being a freshman where I started. But it was difficult, trying to fill the expectations and the goals that I had for myself and that others had for me. So it was kind of a struggle throughout the years, just really mentally for myself, not necessarily physically, because I had all the physical aspects that I could ever want, being at that level. But mentally, I think I just was never really kind of prepared, um, between myself and just um, throughout the college experience. Um, my personal experience have really helped me thus far with coaching, with sharing my experience with my players, being able to help them whenever they're struggling mentally, or whenever they just hit a wall, or just anything. It can be good, bad, whatever. Just being able to let them know like somebody is there for them. I've been through that. I've been in y'all shoes just a year ago. And so it's kind of difficult because it's like I'm at this stage to where like I'm so close to their age, so I relate to them so much, but I'm also having to be this authority figure to them. So it's like a certain self respect that I have to have for myself and that they have for me. That's been really grateful to have thus far. I coach some really good basketball players, and I have a really good team and coaching and staff that also help pour into me as well. So I would say like my personal experience has really boosted, and I'm glad that I went through every personal experience that I had. I'm glad that I met every teammate that I met, and everybody that's really helped me along the way, that now I can pour into the college students here and wherever the road leads me to help in their experience as well. Next question. Uh, what am I most looking forward to this new year? That's a good question. This new year, I'm really looking forward to really help developing myself more, um, working on a lot of my skills, working on some of the things in my next aspects of life, but also being where my feet are at and really enjoying what I'm doing now. Really looking forward to helping others more. Really looking to have more self positivity in my life. Um, Really just looking for like a refreshed beginning. And I think that's something that the new year always brings to all of us. Like everybody have New Year's resolution, but my New Year's resolution is just to say the same me, but just have a different mindset. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm looking for this year is like, okay, from last year, how can I motivate and push more positivity into my own life and others in this new year? And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to in this new year. Next question. How impactful would you say mental health is on athletes? Mental health is really, really huge. I'm glad that now the world is really trying to now seeing how big mental health is for student athletes. Before it probably wasn't something that was really spoken of. COVID really kind of hurt a lot of people's mental because, for one, we were out without playing our sport, and now if you had COVID, it was kind of sad and people had losses to COVID, and it really kind of set us back to where we had to find new skills, new mental spaces in our life. And so um with mental health now, it's becoming such a huge like idea that now it's more people are starting to branch and be able to speak up for themselves, like, hey, I'm not doing good mentally. How can I be helped? How can I see a counselor? How can I do this and that to help my mental health? And that's kind of super exciting to see. As far as like me being a freshman, it wasn't really something that was really honed in and spoken of like on social media or anything about really big on mental health. And now I can see more coaches, and when I talk to coaches, they implement having meetings and weekly check-ins and anything of that sort to really check on their players' mental health. And I think that's really big. And as the years go on, it's starting to be more and more of a big impactful situation that you see in college athletes sports. Next question. What inspired me to start doing interviews? That's a really good question. I just wanted to start it because I thought it would be something different. I see a lot of people do interviews, but it's not to the aspect towards mental health. It's more so like, you're a great player, or just talking about basketball. But um, as we starting to know, at one point in time in our lives, basketball is going to stop dribbling for us. So who are we outside of being a basketball player? And so I started these interviews to talk to other people on the deal of basketball, but more so like, what are you outside of basketball? How do you help your student athletes outside of basketball? As a student athlete, how do you help yourself with your mental health? As an athletic trainer, as a strength conditioner, how do you help your athletes when they're struggling through mental health? And so I just been blessed with different people in my life that's been helping me with my mental health. So that's kind of what inspired me doing the interviews, and also just trying to connect with more people as much as I can. I'm really big on relationships and really getting to know people and stuff. And so I thought this would be a different opportunity for me to also be able to meet people in the same coaching realm as me and just get their mindset on how mental health has changed their life in basketball and just in general. Next question. What's the most important piece of advice you've been given along this journey so far? Um, I mean, I could talk about a lot of things, but I think the biggest advice that I've been given is really just being where your feet are at. A lot of times, me especially, I try to think about the future. I'm super like future oriented, like what am I going to do next? And I just really have to learn to be where my feet are at. If God would have told me a long time ago I would be at Murray, Kentucky, I would have been like, "You're lying, God." Like I would have never imagined. But I'm super blessed to be here. But this is just where God has led me on my journey, and just being where my feet are at every day. How can I be more positive? Like I said, in other people's life, how can I be positive towards myself? How can I grow as a person? How can I, implement different things? I'm starting to read more. I'm starting to look at articles and stuff more. I'm starting to really get into school more. So how can I add these pieces and layers on my life to help others along their journey and my journey as well? And I tell my players all the time, like, it's not a marathon. I mean, it is a marathon, not a sprint. And so a lot of times we try to get somewhere as quickly as possible, but we don't see that there's going to be bumps and hiccups on the way. And so along the journey is just embracing and just really understanding the impact that you have when you can talk to other people in a manner that they understand, and just being able to really just kind of hone in, okay, on like, okay, what do I have to do now to succeed? What do I have to do today that's going to help me tomorrow? How can I be where my feet at right now, that later along the road I can look back and be like, okay, that's why that happened. That's why this happened that way. And so I think that's the biggest piece that I've been given so far from others, is just really just being in the present moment. Last question. How do and I say this one for last, how do you balance your mental health and your athlete's mental health as well each day? And I can say there's really no rhyme of reason of how I kind of deal with this. it's just something as a everyday thing. I just kind of see where I'm at in life. Like when I wake up, I make sure I pray, try to get some type of like meditation or something in, and just really like, okay, what am I doing today? I'm really good at planning, and I stick to my plans on every day. Like, what do I want to do to just be successful in that day? To know that okay, I didn't waste the day. So really, just making sure I did not waste the day. I really try to check in with my players a lot, to make sure they are okay. A lot of people check on me. I mean, I have great family members and a coaching staff that checks on me. You know, if I'm not looking that good that day, they always ask, like, what's wrong? Because I'm always super upbeat and positive. And I just sometimes just self reflect a lot. That's just something that kind of helps me with my mental health. I just really try to stay positive. Everyday life is not going to be all the way up here, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not also down here. I'm just trying to find a healthy medium of, okay, how can I know, within my day that I am blessed and can bless others. And that's really kind of what helps my mental health, is helping others. Sometimes when we step outside of ourselves and step into others, we can realize that our situation is not as deep or as bad as what we make it out to be or what we feel to be. And another thing that's been really helping my mental health, has been reading. I've been reading a lot of like motivational books, a lot of spiritual books that's really been helping me with my mental health. Recently, I read this book called Unoffendable, and it talks about how we can go like day to day without being offended by certain things and aspects in our lives. Um, a lot of times we try to think about me, but whenever we can think of outside of ourselves, like I said, it makes our situation seems a whole lot smaller than what we try to make it to be. And that's really kind of how I grasp my day to day, each day mental health, and how I try to implement and help my girls' mental health and anybody else. Like sometimes I have people that would text me or randomly message me on like how to do this or how to do that. And I just try to help people out as much as I can, because that's really helping me. Little do people know that helps me more than that's helping them. And what was I finna say? My last thing is that a lot of times too, these interviews help me a lot, because sometimes like it's kind of overwhelming, trying to reach out to people sometimes and try to set out a schedule and try to make time in their day and my day. But these interviews also help me out a lot to just be able to self reflect and understand, like, I'm not the only person that struggles with whatever. Like, I'm not the only person that's having to do this or that. Like, it's other people too that are having to have struggles and different things too. And so it kind of brings me back to my own reality of like, I'm not in certain situations alone, and it helps me out a lot. I thank y'all for really tuning in for Zooming with Kaymitch. This has been a rather great experience for me to be able to interview and meet so many different people, and for people to be able to watch this and impact them later down the line. It doesn't matter who I impact, as long as I impact one person, I feel like I'm really doing my job. And so I've been really enjoying these interviews, and this is my self-reflection. Thank y'all for asking these questions, and if I will do another one if y'all have more questions for me. Thank you.